Enter a police station under siege. 3 words to sum it up: trapped, tested, ruthless. I'll break it down, share chilling flick facts, and tell you if assault on Precinct 13 is worth your time. With just hours remaining before the new year begins, Detroit's oldest police station, Precinct 13, is preparing to shut its doors permanently. Only a minimal group of officers remains on duty for New Year's Eve, including Sergeant Jake Ronick, Seasoned Officer Jasper, Desk Secretary Iris, and Psychiatrist Alex. Ronick is deeply troubled by a failed undercover mission from 8 months earlier that led to the deaths of the other 2 members of his unit. At the same time, crime boss Marion Bishop is arrested following a violent confrontation that results in the death of an undercover cop. Bishop is placed on a prison transport bus alongside 3 other detainees: drug addict Beck, small-time criminal Anna, and counterfeiter Smiley. A brutal snowstorm and dangerous road conditions force the bus driver to reroute to Precinct 13.
Jay, come on, Jay. You're not going to send these guys back out in that weather? Fine, but they're your responsibility. I don't hear jack shit about them or from them.
Where the prisoners are held inside the station until the storm passes. The planned New Year's celebration at the precinct is abruptly interrupted when masked attackers storm the building, killing 1 prison guard and fatally wounding the other. The officers quickly realize they are surrounded by unidentified assailants preparing a full-scale siege on the station. All cellular signals and radio communications have been jammed. When one of the attackers throws a brick through a window with Bishop's name written on it, Jasper insists the attackers are Bishop's men sent to break him out. To Jasper, the message on the brick confirms his suspicion that this is not a simple attack, but a calculated attempt to free Bishop at any cost.
I told you, those are Bishop's troops out there. They're taking him out of here tonight no matter what.
This assumption is proven wrong when Ronick kills one of the attackers during another assault and recovers his wallet, which contains a police badge. Bishop then reveals that the attackers are actually corrupt police officers led by Captain Marcus Duval. Bishop explains that he and Duval were once criminal partners, but Duval became greedy.
One of my scumbag partners in crime is your fellow officer, Marcus Duval.
Now Duval and his men, including Mike Kahane, intend to kill Bishop before he can testify in court. Doing so would spare all involved from severe prison sentences. However, now that everyone inside Precinct 13 knows the truth, instead of just Bishop, they have all become liabilities and must be wiped out. Vastly outnumbered by an expanding force of patrol cops, snipers, and elite SWAT units, Ronick decides to release and arm the prisoners so they can survive until morning. Despite the lack of trust between the officers and criminals, Ronick and Bishop strike a deal to work together to stay alive through the night. Through combined effort, they fend off further attacks and recover additional weapons. Soon after, another officer arrives at the precinct, off-duty cop Capra. Driving wildly enough to avoid sniper fire, he rushes into the station terrified and disoriented. The officers greet him with relief, but Beck immediately accuses him of being a planted spy. Worried the accusation could trigger violence, Bishop restrains Beck and calms the situation. Smiley also believes Capra is a plant, and he and Beck decide to gamble on escaping over a nearby fence, risking the police force outside. When the prison bus explodes and Beck and Smiley are spotted fleeing, the remaining group uses the chaos as a diversion. They plan for a separate escape using Capra's car, so a few people can leave the precinct and call for help while the police are distracted. Anna, who knows how to hotwire vehicles, volunteers to drive. Alex joins her. Beck and Smiley reach the perimeter fence before being shot dead by snipers. Anna and Alex appear to escape, but a hidden officer in the back seat shoots Anna, causing the car to crash and Alex to be captured. Alex is taken before Duval, who demands to know how many people remain inside the precinct. Defiant, she responds, 100, and Duval executes her after praising her courage. With only Ronick, Bishop, Jasper, Capra, and Iris left, the precinct has little hope of surviving another assault. Bishop notices the handcuffs securing the back door have been removed. He concludes someone inside is aiding the attackers and accuses Capra.
Why didn't you let him inside?
What's the plan?
The tension escalates dramatically as SWAT teams begin their coordinated assault from the rooftops above the station. The sound of boots breaking glass and shouted commands echoes through the building, pushing the officers inside into a state of urgency and confusion. In the middle of the chaos, Jasper is struck by a sudden realization and recalls the existence of an old sewage tunnel running beneath the station, a long-forgotten passage that could offer a desperate and dangerous means of escape.
I found a way out. Down the basement.
All right, Iris. Capra.
Ronick and Bishop set fire to the precinct to slow their pursuers. The survivors escape through an abandoned sewer passage. But when they emerge onto an empty street, they are immediately surrounded by the corrupt officers. Jasper reveals that he was the traitor all along. Because I'm not dying for that piece of scum. Duval and his men prepare to execute the remaining survivors. Bishop secretly slips a flash grenade into Jasper's jacket, and during the chaos, the group disarms the officers and escapes. Iris and Capra flee in a police vehicle while Ronick and Bishop run into the forest. Duval and another officer chase Ronick, while Kahane pursues the car. The vehicle crashes, severely injuring Capra, but Iris manages to stab Kahane with his own knife. In the woods, Bishop confronts Ronick and proposes working together to kill Duval. Since the corrupt cops have night vision and they do not, Ronick volunteers to draw enemy fire so Bishop can track muzzle flashes and eliminate them. The plan succeeds, and Bishop kills the accompanying officer, but Duval shoots Bishop in the stomach and orders him to lure Ronick into a trap. Ronick arrives and kills Duval, though he is shot and wounded in the process. After reflecting on their cooperation, Bishop chooses to spare Ronick, who promises to track him down one day.
I will find you. No other cop. Just me.
As Bishop limps away, officers led by Iris arrive. One officer asks Ronick if anyone else is in the forest. After pausing and scanning the area, Ronick answers, no. The final shot shows a wounded Ronick walking toward an ambulance with Iris, who says she no longer recognizes the battle-hardened man he became overnight, and Ronick replies, get used to it. Assault on Precinct 13 isn't just a siege thriller. It's a ruthless examination of moral collapse when systems fail. As the walls close in and authority dissolves, the film strips away the illusion of order and forces its characters into uncomfortable gray zones where survival outweighs legality. Cops and criminals become indistinguishable, not by ideology, but by necessity. When institutions abandon their posts, identity is no longer defined by a badge or a record, but by the choices made under pressure. In this vacuum, unity isn't noble, it's mandatory. Cooperation becomes the only barrier between fragile humanity and total chaos. Flick fact number 1. Carpenter wrote the script in just 10 days and scored the film himself, using a minimalist synth theme that pulses like a ticking clock, turning the building into a pressure cooker rather than a place of safety. Flick fact number 2. Carpenter openly modeled the film after Rio Bravo, flipping the classic Western idea of heroic lawmen into a modern urban nightmare where survival, not justice, is the goal. When the system fails, identity becomes irrelevant. Badges, uniforms, and criminal records lose meaning. Assault on Precinct 13 taps into a colder fear than chaos, abandonment. When the system vanishes, survival replaces justice, and morality becomes negotiable. The station turns into a trap, safety into an illusion. This isn't about body counts, it's about endurance. Lines between cop and criminal dissolve, not through choice, but necessity. Cooperation isn't heroic, it's mandatory. By the end, there's no victory, only survival at a cost. On the flick verdict scale, this is a must-watch. Lean, relentless, and morally raw, Assault on Precinct 13 proves that when authority disappears, endurance is the only currency left. Love movies where survival erases the rules? Flick Favorites breaks down the thrillers that don't blink. Comment below. Who would you trust inside Precinct 13? Hope you enjoyed it, and wishing you a wonderful day.